You've heard his voice in countless shows, but did you know that Andy Devine's unique, raspy tone was born out of a tragic childhood accident? From a sudden injury that left him speechless for months to becoming one of Hollywood's most iconic sidekicks, his journey is one filled with mystery, surprising twists, and a legacy that continues to captivate. But there's a shocking detail about his death that most people still don't know. It's a story of fame, heartbreak, and an eerie, bizarre ending that will leave you questioning how life can take such a strange turn. Stick around. What you're about to hear might surprise you. Tragic end. Andy Devine, the beloved actor known for his cheerful voice and joyful screen presence, met a truly strange and heartbreaking end. In the final years of his life, Andy was already dealing with serious health problems like diabetes and heart disease. But what made his death especially unusual was a bizarre accident at home. According to several reports, Andy fell and landed in a way that caused a sharp stick or object to stab through the roof of his mouth. The injury was severe and painful, though it didn't kill him immediately. Unfortunately, the location of the wound made it hard to treat. Infections quickly set in, and because Andy's body was already weak, it couldn't fight back. His condition got worse, and some believe he even developed sepsis, a dangerous infection that spreads through the blood. Even with medical help, his health continued to decline. Andy passed away on February 18, 1977, in Orange, California, at the age of 71. His official cause of death was leukemia, worsened by the strange injury. Fans were shocked and heartbroken. A man known for making others laugh died in a way that felt unfair and painful. Raspy voice. Andy Devine's voice was one of the most unique in Hollywood, raspy, high-pitched, and instantly recognizable. Many thought it was a clever acting trick, but in truth, his voice was the result of a childhood accident. When Andy was a young boy, he fell while running with a stick or curtain rod in his mouth. The stick stabbed the roof of his mouth, causing serious damage to his vocal cords. For nearly a year, Andy couldn't speak at all. When his voice finally returned, it had changed completely. It now had a wheezy, squeaky quality that sounded almost like two people talking at once. Instead of hiding this unusual voice, Andy embraced it. He turned what could have been a lifelong problem into his trademark. This voice became his greatest strength, helping him stand out in Hollywood. It gave his characters charm, humor, and a lovable personality. Andy proved that even flaws can become features if you use them the right way. His voice didn't hold him back. It made him unforgettable. Western star. Andy Devine became a legendary figure in Hollywood, especially known for his roles in Western films. In an era filled with tough cowboys and silent heroes, Andy stood out as the cheerful, lovable sidekick who brought humor and heart to every scene. His big break came in the 1939 classic Stagecoach, where he played Buck, the stagecoach driver, alongside John Wayne. That role not only made him famous but also created a lifelong friendship with Wayne. Throughout the 1930s to the 1950s, Andy appeared in hundreds of films, mostly westerns. He often played characters like cooks, drivers, or loyal friends. People who weren't the heroes but made the heroes look even better. With his jolly laugh, clumsy charm, and raspy voice, he made every role special. He worked with legends like Roy Rogers and Gene Autry, becoming a fan favorite in the process. Even though he wasn't the leading man, Andy Devine was the soul of many westerns. He brought laughter to serious stories and made the wild frontier feel a little more fun. His presence was a key part of what made those films memorable. TV pioneer. As television began to rise in the 1950s, Andy Devine quickly became one of its most beloved faces. Already a star in films, he smoothly transitioned to the small screen, winning the hearts of a whole new generation. One of his most famous roles was on The Adventures of Wild Bill Hickok, where he played Jingles P. Jones, a jolly, lovable sidekick to the brave cowboy hero. From 1951 to 1958, families across America tuned in weekly just to hear Jingles' cheerful voice and watch his funny antics. But Andy didn't stop there. He went on to host Andy's Gang, a popular children's show that aired from 1955 to 1960. With a frog puppet named Froggy the Gremlin and his famous line, "Hiya, kids," he became a favorite among children. His ability to connect with young audiences showed a different side of his talent: warm, goofy, and kind-hearted. Andy Devine wasn't just another actor on TV. He helped shape what family television looked like in its early days. His shows brought laughter, joy, and imagination into American homes every week. Through TV, Andy became more than a Western star. He became a childhood memory for millions. Voice acting. Andy Devine didn't just shine in front of the camera. His voice became a powerful tool in the world of animation and advertising too. With a raspy, high-pitched tone that was instantly recognizable, Andy brought life and warmth to animated characters like few others could. One of his most memorable voice roles was in Disney's 1973 classic Robin Hood, where he played Friar Tuck, the jolly and brave clergyman who supported Robin Hood's fight against injustice. His performance gave the character heart, humor, and soul. He also became the voice behind Cornelius the Rooster in Kellogg's Cornflakes commercials, which aired in the 1950s and 60s. His cheerful delivery helped make Cornelius a beloved mascot for kids across the country. These commercials showed how Andy could connect with audiences using just his voice. No need for costumes or cameras. Through voice acting, Andy reached audiences of all ages, proving that his vocal talent was timeless. Whether in cartoons or commercials, he left a lasting impression. His voice didn't just entertain. It became part of childhood memories for millions, continuing his legacy far beyond the screen. Stage moments. While Andy Devine was famous for film and TV, he also stepped onto the live stage and proved he could entertain in real time too. In 1957, he made his stage debut as Captain Andy in the musical Showboat at the Jones Beach Theater in Long Island. Known for its emotional depth and powerful music, Showboat was no easy project, but Andy brought warmth and humor to the role, winning over both critics and audiences. Years later, in 1973, he returned to the same role in a college production at the University of Louisiana at Monroe. Invited by filmmaker George C. Bryant, Andy performed with students, showing his love for acting and his desire to pass on his experience to younger generations. Despite spending most of his career in front of cameras, Andy's stage performances show he was just as talented live. He connected with audiences through his charm, comedic timing, and larger-than-life personality. These rare but memorable moments on stage added another layer to his long and successful career, proving that Andy Devine wasn't just a screen icon, but a true performer at heart. Flying school. Beyond acting, Andy Devine had a surprising and heroic side. He was a passionate aviator who helped train pilots during World War II. At a time when the U.S. urgently needed skilled airmen, Andy stepped up by opening a flight school called Provo Devine in Provo, Utah. This wasn't just a celebrity project. His school played a serious role in preparing young men for military service. As a trained pilot himself, Andy was deeply involved in the program. He cared about safety, discipline, and making sure his students were ready for the skies. Hundreds of future military pilots trained at his school under a government contract, and his efforts were seen as a patriotic contribution to the war effort. Andy's love for flying showed another side of his personality: brave, responsible, and committed to helping his country. While many knew him as a funny sidekick on screen, few realized he was also shaping real-life heroes behind the scenes. His flight school became a meaningful part of his legacy, proving that his talents went far beyond entertainment. Radio passion. In addition to film, TV, and aviation, Andy Devine had a deep love for amateur radio, also known as AM radio. He wasn't just a casual fan. He was a licensed operator with the call sign WB6RV, joining a global community of hobbyists who communicated over radio waves. This passion showed a different side of Andy: curious, technical, and eager to connect with people far beyond Hollywood. He often used radio to reach out, share stories, and learn from other operators. For Andy, it wasn't just a hobby, it was a way to stay grounded and explore new technology. His involvement in AM radio earned him respect in that community as well. Even after his death, his radio legacy lived on. A local radio club in his hometown of Kingman, Arizona, adopted his call sign and still uses it today. They also hold an annual memorial event in his honor, celebrating not just his fame, but his genuine love for communication and learning. Through AM radio, Andy proved he was more than a star. He was a man of many interests, always seeking connection and community. Unique injury. Andy Devine's most famous trait, his unforgettable voice, was actually the result of a painful childhood accident. As a young boy, Andy suffered a serious injury when he fell with a stick, or possibly a curtain rod, in his mouth. The object stabbed into the roof of his mouth, damaging his vocal cords. Some versions of the story say he was sliding down a banister when it happened. The injury was so severe that Andy couldn't speak for nearly a year. When his voice returned, it had completely changed. It became raspy, wheezy, and high-pitched, unlike anything anyone had ever heard. While most people might have been embarrassed by such a voice, Andy embraced it. In fact, he turned it into his biggest strength. That strange, squeaky tone made him perfect for comedic roles, lovable sidekicks, and even voice acting. What began as a tragic accident ended up shaping an entire career. Andy Devine's story is a reminder that sometimes the things that make us different are the very things that make us unforgettable. Lasting legacy. Andy Devine's legacy is more than just a long list of film and TV credits. It's the joy, warmth, and humor he brought to generations of fans. For over 4 decades, he lit up screens with his iconic raspy voice, jolly presence, and lovable characters. Whether he was the funny sidekick in a Western, the cheerful host of a kid's show, or the voice behind a cartoon character, Andy had a way of making people smile. He didn't need to be the hero. His strength was in supporting roles, where his charm and comedic timing made the main stars shine even brighter. From Stagecoach with John Wayne to The Adventures of Wild Bill Hickok, Andy left a mark on classic Hollywood. In the world of television, Andy's gang became a Saturday morning favorite, creating magical memories for children across America. His voice acting roles in Disney's Robin Hood and Kellogg's commercials only added to his appeal, reaching younger audiences in new and exciting ways. Off the screen, Andy was just as impressive. He trained military pilots during World War II, explored the world of amateur radio, and even took to the stage in live theater productions. He wasn't just a performer. He was a well-rounded, passionate person who used his talents to entertain, educate, and inspire. Even his hometown honors his memory. In Kingman, Arizona, a local AM radio club carries his call sign, and his name remains a symbol of pride. Fans and fellow actors remember him not just for his talent, but for his kindness and heart. Despite a tragic end, Andy Devine's life was filled with moments that continue to bring happiness to others. His legacy lives on in the laughter he shared, the roles he made famous, and the voice no one could ever forget. From his unforgettable voice to his comic genius, Andy Devine's story is one for the books. But there's more to this tale, and the strange details of his death aren't the only shocking part of his life. Make sure you hit subscribe and stay tuned as we continue diving into some of the most fascinating and untold stories in entertainment history. And coming up next, don't miss our deep dive into the Coming to America cast then and now. You won't believe how some of your favorite actors from the 1988 classic have aged in 2025. Their transformations might just shock you. See you in the next video.